Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Okay, please stop talking. Today you will learn chapter 5, risk management. Alright? So what you will learn today is, okay, first I will explain to you what is risk. Okay, then what is risk management. Two strategies to deal with risk. These are the two initial strategies: reactive risk strategies versus proactive risk strategy. What's the difference between these two? Okay, so risk management processes. So to manage risk, so what are the group of activities? Okay, risk management planning. Okay, so technique to identify risk, risk projection, okay, and so on. And 5.7 are important. Okay, so risk mitigation, monitoring, and management plan. These are important. Okay, so you know what are the risks in the project. So risk mitigation is what you can do to reduce the impact, to reduce the probability. Okay, if you know there's a risk, how you monitor and control it. And finally, so the risk has become clear what to do. So just to let you know in advance, some slides has been modified, and some which I think are not so important, I will skip them. Okay, so what is risk? Alright, so what's risk? The answer is, risk is an uncertain event or condition that if it occurs, has a positive or negative effect on project objective. So let me repeat. So a risk is an uncertain event or condition that if it occurs, has a positive or negative effect on project objective. So if it is a risk, usually if it occurs, it will have negative effect on the project objective. So risk is an uncertain event. It is an uncertain event because you say this is a risk. Okay, it is an uncertain event. It may happen or it may not happen. Okay, so that's why risk is an uncertain event. Okay, so in the future, okay, so this event may happen or it may not happen. Okay, so if it happens, it will have a negative effect on project objective. So in project management, a risk may threaten project completion time. Okay, so a risk may lead to cost overrun. So risk also may result in low product quality. So this is how a risk may affect project objective. So it can threaten project completion time. That means when a risk happens, okay, when some unfavorable condition happen, okay, it can cause project delay. Okay, it can cause project delay, it can cause project cost overrun, okay, and also can result in low product quality. So another explanation of what a risk is, okay, it says a risk is something that you prefer not to happen. Okay, something that you prefer not to happen in the future. Okay, so what is risk management? So risk management is the art and science of identifying, assigning, and responding to risk throughout the life of a project. Alright, so these are examples of risk. High staff turnover is a risk. Staff inexperience is a risk. Funding will be lost is a risk. Lack of training on tools is a risk. So these are examples of risk. So for each risk, how you going to deal with them? There's no fixed way to deal with them. Different project manager will use different way to deal with the project risk. Hence the reason why risk management is the art and science. So the art part is high staff turnover. How do you deal with high staff turnover? There is not one solution, there are many solutions. Different project manager may use different solutions. Right? So it is an art. Okay, what about the science part? So the science part is, for example, if you multiply probability with impact, you get a value 1.8. 1.8 is a risk score. So risk score is probability multiplied impact. This multiplied with this, you get 1.8. It cannot be 2. This is science. Okay, this is science. So the art part is, when there's a problem, there are many ways to solve it. Okay. So which way you choose is based on which one you like and which you think is best for the situation. Okay, so risk management is the art and science of managing risk. Okay, so I've explained to you what is risk. Okay, what is risk management? Okay, so the goal of risk management is to minimize potential risk. Okay, so it is often overlooked in projects. Have you done this before? You start your FYP. Have you identified? Okay, when you do this project, okay, what are the risks? Have you identified? You do this project, what are the potential risks? So for the risk, what's the category? So the probability that it will happen. If it happens, what would be the impact? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is negligible, 2 is marginal, 3 is critical, 4 is catastrophic. Okay, and what have you also planned what to do to reduce the probability and impact? Do you also monitor the risk? And have you also planned in advance what to do if the risk becomes real? I think you may not have done in so detail. Maybe in your mind you do have think of if I do this, what will be the risk? Okay, I think you do it, and you store it in your mind. You don't do it in writing. Okay, but in actual project you have to put it in writing. Okay, you have to put it in writing so that you have something that you can refer to. Okay, something that you can refer to, and take the action when the risk becomes real. Right. So doing this, completing this table, that means you are well prepared. Okay, when something unfavorable happens, you are well prepared what to do. If you are not well prepared, you may be panic. Okay, so you may be panic, you don't know what to do, and that will delay your project. Okay. Okay. Reactive risk strategy and proactive risk strategy. So reactive risk strategy is project manager take actions to deal with the risk after a problem has arisen. Okay, so this is also known as firefighting. So reactive risk strategy is, okay, you deal with the risk, you deal with the problem when the problem arises. Okay, so proactive risk strategy is you identify potential risk. Okay, so identify potential risk in the project, assess the probability and impact before any technical work begins. Okay, and you develop a contingency plan to respond to the risk. Okay, so it means you prepare in advance what to do if any identified risk becomes real. Okay, so primary objective is to avoid risk. Okay, so this chapter will focuses on proactive risk strategy. Okay, on this one. Okay, so this between this and this would be a better risk management strategy. Okay, so between this and this will be a better risk management strategy. So you are well prepared what to do when problem arise. Okay, so these are the risk management processes. So you start with planning, identify risk. After you identify the risk, you have a list of risks. After you have a list of risks, then you can do analysis. Okay, then you can do risk analysis. Two types of analysis that you can do: qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis. Okay. After that, you do risk response planning, okay, monitoring and control. So these are risk management processes, main activity in managing risk. Okay, risk planning. So a risk management plan should cover the following areas. So what is the specific risk? Okay, identify all the possible risks in the project. Why it is important to take or not to take the risk, how the risk is going to be mitigated. So this means that how the risk is going to be mitigated means how you want to reduce the probability of the risk from occurring or lessen its impact if it does occur. Okay, so that's mitigation. So in mitigation, okay, so we find ways to reduce the probability, okay, and lessen its impact if it does occur. Okay, so who are responsible for implementing the risk management plan? How much effort are required to mitigate the risk? So planning is to find the answer to all these questions: what, why, how, who, how. Okay. So also useful to have contingency plans. So predefined actions to take if it identified risk become real. Okay. So this is good that you have predefined actions to deal with risk. Okay. So that you are able to solve the problem promptly. Okay. Don't delay the problem. When problem occurs, okay, solve the problem immediately. Okay. It's good that you have predefined action to take when risk become real. Okay. So that you can solve the problem the soonest possible. Okay, so contingency funds. Okay, so contingency funds are reserve funds to mitigate cost or schedule if it does occur. So reserve fund. Okay, so it's also good to have reserve fund. Okay, so if you have to spend additional amount of money and you have reserve fund, then you should not encounter much problem. Okay. Next, risk identification. Okay. So identify risks that could threaten the software engineering process, the software being developed, or the development organization. So meaning, okay, you have to identify that can threaten the process, the product, and also the company. I will skip this one. Okay. So common risk in IT project. Okay. So common risk in IT project, financial risk. Okay. So financial risk, so meaning if you cannot afford, okay. So if company cannot afford to undertake the project, okay, then better not to undertake the project. Okay, else later on the project can become an abandoned project. Okay, because you have no more money to pay for it. Okay, so if can't afford, then it's better that not to undertake a project. Okay, so another financial risk is, okay, so company is not using the financial resources in the best way. Okay, so cannot afford and not using, company financial source in the right way. So these two are financial risks. Okay, so people doesn't have the right skill. Okay, so people doesn't have the right skill, and senior management does not support the project. So these are people risks. So this is also risky. Okay, when people doesn't have the required skill, and senior management does not support the project. Okay, so these are compatibility issue. Okay, so these are compatibility issue. This comes under technology risk. Okay, structure or process risk. Structure or process risk is a kind of risk where the introduction of a new system, introduction of a new system into the organization causes people to alter the way of doing things in a big way. Okay, so it changes people doing work in a big way. Is structure or process risk. So what may likely happen if degree of change is high? So when a system is introduced and it causes organization structure to change, it causes the way people working also change a lot. So what do you think will happen? Employee in the organization may resist the system. Okay, so this is the risk. So using a new system, using a new system, developing a project so that company want to implement a new system, but this system will require employee in the organization to change their way of working in a big way. Okay, so this may result in resistance to change. Okay, so another one is market risk. Okay, so market risk, someone else create a better product or service faster than you or better than you. So this is market risk. Okay, so these are four categories of risk in IT project. Okay, financial risk, people risk, technology risk, structure or process risk, and market risk. Skip this one. Okay. So techniques to identify risk. So here there are four techniques to identify risk. So one is brainstorming. So brainstorming involves project team members. So this technique involves project team members. Team members get together to discuss possible risks. Okay, come together and discuss possible risks. So what can you discuss? So during discussion, during discussion you can ask a question like this. So can the organization afford to undertake the project? Is the best way to use the company financial resources? Okay, so you may throw in this question to team members. Okay, throw in the question to team members and get them to answer the questions. Okay, so this is brainstorming idea. Okay, so brainstorming idea. So one person may ask question, others may contribute by answering the questions. Okay, so discuss and find answer to this question. So brainstorming. These are some of the topics that you can discuss. Okay, so that's brainstorming. Brainstorming involves project team members. Okay, so another one is interviewing. Okay, so so project manager can interview people. Okay, interview people by asking people who have used particular hardware and software in his previous project. So Perhaps you know people who have used this hardware and software. You ask, you have not used it. Okay, you have not used it before, so you ask people who have used it. Okay, ask for their opinion whether the hardware and software is good or not, because you are planning to use it. So this is to reduce risk. Okay, this is to reduce the risk of adopting the wrong technology. Okay, and you can also ask people who have worked with particular customer before you. So why do you want to do this is, this customer is coming to you, okay? This customer is coming to you and asking you to build a software for him. Okay, so before you accept his job, you may ask company who have dealt with this customer or not. Okay, so whether this is a good customer or whether this is a fussy customer. Some customers are very fussy. Okay, so they fussy in the sense that they keep changing requirements. There are customers who keep changing requirements. After giving you requirements, the next week change. After next week, then change again. Then when can you finish the work? I think you will not want to accept job from this kind of customer. Alright? So to find out whether this customer is of this type, so you ask people who have dealt with this customer before. So this is also a way to identify risk. Okay, so that for this one you know whether it's risky or not risky to use the particular hardware and software. And for this, you will know whether risky or not risky to accept job from this customer. If you are the landlord, okay, if you are the landlord and you have a house to rent, okay, so tenant come after you, so you also may want to know you may also want to ask the previous landlord whether this is a good tenant or a bad tenant. This is to reduce risk of accepting a bad tenant. You are not a landlord, but you are a tenant. Okay. So number 3, Delphi technique. So Delphi technique, a group of experts contribute ideas on specific issue. They then further refine those ideas and lastly finalize on what is acceptable. So similar to brainstorming, except that this one involves expert. Okay, so this one involves expert from various disciplines come together to contribute ideas on specific issue. Okay, so number 4 is SWOT analysis. I think you know what is SWOT. Strength, weaknesses, opportunity, threat. Okay, SWOT analysis. So use SWOT analysis to compare your company with another company to see who is likely to win a project. So you can do a SWOT analysis, okay, so to decide, okay, whether or not you want to bid for a project. Okay, if there's a tender and you want to bid for the project, before you bid, okay, you may want to do a SWOT analysis, compare your strength and weaknesses with other companies' strength and weaknesses. See if you are stronger or your competitor is stronger than you. If competitor is stronger than you and you bid, what's the chances of winning the bid? I think it's low. Okay, you spend time but you do not win the bid, it's a waste of time. Skip this. Okay, so we start with planning. Okay, identify risk. So the previous slide gives you ideas. Okay, what are the techniques that you can use to identify risk. Is this a good idea to do risk identification alone? it a good idea to do risk identification alone? Okay, not a good idea because alone you have limited ideas. Okay, it's good that you do it in a group. Okay, brainstorm with your team members. Right? So planning identification, after you've identified a risk, what do you have? After you do this, what do you have? You have a list of risks. You have a list of potential risks. After you have a list of potential risks, then you can do analysis. You can do qualitative analysis, and you can do qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis. Alright. We don't cover this, okay? So we teach you how to do quantitative analysis. So for quantitative analysis, for each risk you estimate probability and impact. Okay, estimate. So you try to estimate as accurate as you can. Okay, for each risk. Okay, what's the probability that it become real? Okay, if it become real, what will be the impact? Okay, so you have identified risk. Okay, so see for each risk which category it belongs to. Estimate the probability, estimate the impact. Okay, finally RMMM. So your mitigation, monitoring, and management plan. This will be the most time consuming. Okay, this is the most time consuming, your mitigation plan, your monitoring plan, and management plan. Okay, category of risk. So using a new language in the project, compatibility issues. Okay, so these two are example of technology risk. High staff turnover, operating with a smaller team than required. This is staff risk, staff size risk. Okay, so customer has unrealistic expectation, customer keep changing requirements, so this is customer risk or customer characteristic risk. So every risk has its category. Okay, then for each risk, okay, so then for each risk, what's the probability that the risk will become real, okay, and the impact if it becomes real. Okay, so ensure accuracy to avoid misunderstanding. Okay, try to be as accurate as you can when you are estimating these two. Okay, so risk impact. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is negligible, 2 is marginal, 3 is critical, 4 is catastrophic, 4 is GG. Right? So risk impact scale, you can use 1 to 4, okay, or 1 to 10. Okay, up to you. If you use 1 to 4, I think you can fill in the table faster. If you go to 10, 1 to 10, if the rating is 1 to 10, I think you need to spend longer time to decide what's the right number. Correct? So the textbook recommend 1 to 4, 1 to 10 also can, 1 to 15. Not logical. 1 to 20. Not logical. Okay. 1 to 4 makes sense. 1 to 10 also makes sense. Right? So use a suitable scale. Okay. So this is what you need to come up with after identification. Okay, so the risk, so the category, probability, impact, and this is last. Okay, so this is last. So this one, there will be an example at the end of the chapter. Okay, so high staff turnover is staff risk. Okay, so probability 60%. Impact 3. Impact 3 means critical. Critical, correct? Cannot be negligible. Okay, if you put one is high staff turnover, negligible, no, doesn't make sense. Marginal also doesn't make sense. Okay, 3 or 4. Okay, so technology will not meet expectation. This technology is 30%. 4, is it logical? Technology will not meet expectation. So when system is completed and implemented, the system is outdated. Okay, so now technology is changing very fast. So for 2 years project or 3 years project, okay, so 3 years later when we see the project can become outdated. So that is technology risk. Impact is 4, logical, logical 3 or 4. Okay, 1 or 2 doesn't not so appropriate. Okay, so you have almost completed the table. So you need to pay attention to high impact risk. High impact risk, risk will score, impact score 3 and 4. Okay, with moderate to high probability. Moderate to high probability will be 0.4 to 1 or 0.5 to 1. Okay, that is considered high probability. Okay, or low impact risk but with high probability. Okay, high probability is close to 1 but low impact, also you have to pay attention. Okay, so you pay attention to high impact risk, risk impact 3 or 4, okay, and high probability. Or we can do it this way. Okay, you calculate the risk score for each risk. Okay, pay attention to those risks with high score. So this is how you calculate risk score. You multiply probability with impact, you will get a number. So you sort the risk table by risk score in descending order. So when you sort the risk table, when you sort the risk table by risk score in descending order, risk with the highest score will appear at the top. Okay, so risk with the low score will appear at the bottom. So you pay attention to those that appear at the top. Okay, so calculate risk score. So risk category, you calculate risk score using probability and impact. So these two multiply, you get a number. You get a number, you sort the risk table by risk score in what order? Christopher, in what order? Ascending or descending? Okay, descending, okay, so in descending order, so that highest score will appear at the top, lowest score will appear at the bottom. Because we want to pay attention to the one that's of highest score. Then set cut-off line. Okay, cut-off line, this is cut-off line. Okay, why is that cut-off line? Christopher, why is that cut-off line?
Descending.
Project cannot continue. Okay. Let me tell you, your risk table may have hundreds of risks, This risk table, you may have hundreds of risks. You do not want to take care of them. You only want to take care of those with the high score. So any score below below 1 you don't want to consider. So you draw a line. Okay, so below 1, 1.2 you will consider. So any risk below 1, the score below 1, okay, you want to ignore. So that's the purpose of setting a cutoff line. You cannot take care of them all. Okay, when you identify risk, you put everything in a table. You put everything in the table, and then you have a 100 risk. So you only want to take care of those with high score. That's the reason why can we set cutoff line. Okay, so assessing risk exposure. So assessing risk exposure, what does this mean? So it means measure the amount of losses if a particular risk becomes real. Right? Assessing risk exposure means you calculate amount of losses if the risk becomes real. This example I've simplified the example. Okay. So this is a formula to use to calculate risk exposure. So risk exposure is probability multiplied cost. Okay, cost if the risk become real. Okay, example. Okay, so this is a simplified example. 60 reusable software components were planned. Okay, so 60 reusable software components were planned. Only 70%. 70% is 42 components can be reused. 18 components will have to be developed from scratch. The average component is 100 lines of code, and the cost for each line of code is 40. So the risk identified is only 70% can be reused. Only 70% of components can be reused. Another 30% have to be custom developed. So this risk probability is 80%. So the cost to develop the 18 component is 18 components, each component 100 lines of code. So 14 is the cost per line of code. Okay, so this will be the cost to develop the 18 components. So risk exposure is 20,160. So this is the amount of losses. Okay, if only 20% of components can be reused, not 100% of them. Okay, I have replaced this with another diagram. So I will delete this one and put this into version 2 and put it in the classroom later. Right? So risk has two primary components. One is probability of occurrence, another one is magnitude of impact. So probability of occurrence can be very high or very low. Magnitude of impact can be little or no impact, or impact is very high. Okay. So risk is high. Okay. Risk is high when probability of occurrence of an event increase. If probability increase, risk also increases. So when the magnitude of impact increase, risk also increase. This area is high risk. This area is high risk. Okay, so risk that require immediate attention and management intervention. So these are risks that you cannot ignore. Okay, so let's say the risk is at this point. Let's say the risk is at this point. Impact is very high. Probability of 0.5 or 0.6. Okay. If the risk is here. If the risk is here, okay, impact is very high. The probability of occurrence is above 0.5. Probability above 0.5, very high impact, is a high risk. Okay, if it is here, impact is, if let's say here, okay, if let's say here, impact is close to very high, probability also close to very high, this is a high risk. If the risk is here, okay, if the risk is at this point, impact is low, okay, impact is low, little impact. Probability of occurrence is very low, so it is a low risk. So high risk, so for high risk, okay, need to pay close attention to, okay, so need to pay close attention to. For low risk, perhaps you can ignore it. What about moderate risk? Between low and high, what to do with the risk that falls under the moderate category? Those moderate one, what to do? Your risk table with risk score, you may have high score means high risk. You may have low score, you can ignore. This one you cannot ignore. This one, what to do? Christopher, you want to answer? This one cannot ignore, this one you can ignore. In between, you monitor it. Okay, so you monitor it. Okay, so see if you go higher. If you go higher, you have to do something. Okay, if later become lower, then it's good. So you have to monitor this. This is what this diagram is telling you. Okay, so this is what this diagram telling you. Risk has two components. Okay, probability and impact. Okay, so when probability increase, risk also increase. Okay, when impact increase, risk also increase. Okay, take a rest first.
剩下6月。
做個鐘，你做個鐘，不如這樣弄了。你看到人家玩這個 IGC 的一個功能。 但我爸爸突然玩抖音，
什么？
我爸抖音，他突然间那个抖音突然跳出来，我爸发一个视频，爱情不能做比较，然后我就看，怎么我爸会发这种东西？然后他在发歌，他发歌，奇怪，竟然会发这种奇怪的东西。果然啊，我们家是一个样，跟发抖音。
你是经常发抖音？
追星，我们全家都发，除了我弟弟，我妈也追星，我妈也是跟我一样发。
可是我没有发这种的，我们全家也是没有发。
是啊，就是
我觉得最 active 的是我姐姐，发一些 comment， 然后过后广泛认识网上各种那种 comment 啊，认识人，然后就
这样
一直聊。
是啊，就这样。
我就觉得，我只是对我来说是不可能的事情嘛。
Why？
我不懂，我觉得很尴尬。为什么？
对呀、看啊，看人啊。
对，就我弟弟应该也是有，但是没有像我姐姐这样说。
我应该是遗传，我家里，我阿妈她那个年代就在追，可是她追那种很老很老明星，还没有像我们这样疯狂追的、啊。我妈还是追那种小鲜肉，我真的不懂什么。真的。
Okay, get ready yet? So the last part of this chapter is to fill in the last column of the risk table. Okay, so the last column is risk mitigation, monitoring, and management. So these are the 3 plans. Okay, so these are the 3 plans. Mitigation is for this risk. For mitigation, you write down for the risk what you will do to reduce the probability and to reduce the impact. Okay, how you will monitor the risk. So what you will do, okay, when the risk becomes real. All right. So risk mitigation. Okay. So risk mitigation, monitoring, and management plan. All right. So you identify the risk, category of risk, probability, impact. Now you do this part. You have to do the 3M for each risk. All right. So mitigation is for this risk. Okay, how you want to reduce the probability. Okay, how to reduce the impact. Okay, this is a risk. How you will monitor it. Okay, management is is the RMMM. Okay, so you need to have a clear understanding what is risk mitigation. So risk mitigation is to develop options and actions to enhance opportunity and reduce threat to project objective. Alright, I've highlighted here. So risk mitigation is to develop options and actions to reduce threats to project objective. Alright. So what are the action or option you want to develop to reduce the probability and impact? Because you don't want the risk to threaten the project objective, so that you will not delay the project. You will not cause cost overrun. Okay, and to avoid quality problem. Okay, risk monitoring and control. So risk monitoring and control is a tracking activity. Okay, monitoring and control is a tracking activity. So for monitoring and control, you assess. Okay, so assess whether predicted risks do in fact occur. So checking. Okay, so you are doing checking. Monitoring and control, first you check whether predicted risks do occur. Okay, so ensure the risk aversion step defined for the risk being properly applied. Okay, I explained to you why I've highlighted this later. Okay, so carry out the risk management plan as risk occur. This is a control. This is the control. This is tracking. This is tracking. This is tracking. This is control. You have no control, so at least you have tracking activities here. Okay. Part C is risk management and contingency planning. So risk management is take action. Okay, take actions when mitigation effort have failed and the risk has become a reality. So here you spell out what action you will take when the risk has become real. So you have to clearly understand the meaning of these three: risk mitigation, monitoring and control, and risk management, so that you can do your assignment correctly. To do your assignment correctly, you have to follow the description for mitigation, for monitoring and control, for risk management. Okay, I repeat one more time. Risk mitigation is to develop options and actions to reduce threats to project objective. Okay. In other words, you develop option and action to reduce probability, to reduce impact. Okay, so monitoring is a project tracking activity. Okay, it's a tracking activity. You are doing checking. Okay, so assess whether predicted risks do occur. So you check whether the risk has happened or not. So ensure risk aversion step defined for the risks are being applied properly. In your project plan, you have spelled out what you will do if the risk become real in your project plan. Okay, so at this stage here, okay, you check whether you do what you say you will do. So this one, ensure risk aversion step defined for the risks are being applied properly. So this one is in your project plan. Yeah, you may have spelled out what you will do when certain risks become real. What you will do. Okay, so here also check whether you do what you said you will do in your project plan. Oh, this one, sorry, this one. Carry out the risk management plan as risk occur. This is to carry out the activities that you have spelled out in your project plan. In your project plan, you say what you will do if the risk come in. So monitoring control, you check whether you do it or not. Okay, so risk management, take action when mitigation effort fail and then the risk has become a reality. Okay, here you take action. So monitoring and control also check whether you have taken this action. So this and this are related. Okay. So you check whether or not you have taken this action. Okay, now let's look at the example. Okay, high staff turnover is a risk. So this risk can impact on project cost and schedule. High staff turnover can impact on project cost and schedule. Okay, high staff turnover, that means large number of project staff leave the project before the project complete. Okay, so it can threaten project schedule. That means when last number of staff leave the project before it finishes, so remaining their less staff. Okay, so when the project has less staff, okay, there's a chance that the project will not be able to meet deadline. Okay, so this is how it impacts the schedule. So how it impacts the cost is 5 staff resign, you get another 5 staff in. So this 5 staff in when you bring in new 5 staff, this 5 staff may cost their salary may be higher than the previous 5 staff. So this is how it can impact project cost. Staff replacement costs are higher. Okay. So probability is 70%. Okay, impact is critical. High staff turnover impact is critical. It is not logical to say high staff turnover, the impact is negligible or marginal. It's not marginal, it's not negligible. Critical, catastrophic. Between catastrophic and critical, I would say critical is more accurate. Okay, so probability is 70% very high. Okay, why very high? Okay, reason can be this company is paying very low to the software engineer. Other companies are paying high. Okay, so therefore probability is 30%. Or perhaps this company is close to Singapore. Okay, Singapore pay is very high compared to companies located in Johor. Okay. Alright, so mitigation. So mitigation is to develop option and action to reduce threat to project objective. Okay. So what you can do, can meet with current staff to determine causes of turnover. Okay, example, if you are the project manager, you can choose a suitable standoff meeting. You have frequent standoff meeting, you choose a suitable standoff meeting session to find out from remaining staff, okay, why their colleagues are leaving the organization. Okay. So to reduce the impact, okay, so assign backup staff member for every critical technology. Okay. So for every critical technology, okay, so there should be a backup staff. Okay, at least another staff know how to do the job. Okay, not only one person can do the job. Okay, you have to get another one to learn from this person how to do the job. In case the person leaves, you have a backup. Okay, example, Jim is a network specialist, and Jack is a technician. Okay, lower ranking. So assign Jack to work closely with Jim to manage the project network infrastructure. So when Jim is unavailable due to resignation, then Jack can ensure service continuity. This will be the mitigation plan for this risk. Okay, monitoring. Okay, monitoring is a project tracking activity. So project manager may collect information to do risk analysis. Okay, so assess interpersonal relationship among team members. So for monitoring, you can assess the interpersonal relationship among team members. You can observe okay, when project is going on, you can observe how is the interrelationship between team members. So you monitor by observing. You can see how team members interact. You can observe. This observation is a tracking activity. It's a monitoring activity. Okay. So another monitoring activity you can do is monitor the availability of jobs within the company and outside. Okay, so what you can do is you can monitor the overall economy of a country and IT job market. So what do you check? So to monitor overall economy of a country, what do you check? GDP, gross domestic product, GDP, country GDP, whether GDP is increasing or decreasing. If GDP is increasing, it means that country economy is expanding. Okay, so when country economy is expanding, there will be more job opportunities. Okay, when GDP is decreasing, that means economy is not doing well. Okay, when economy is not doing well, job hopping will be less. Okay, but when economy are doing well, there are many job opportunities, job hopping will increase. Okay, so monitor the availability of jobs within the company and outside. So you can see whether the economy is becoming better. Okay, and also you can look at IT job markets. To check IT job markets, what do you check? To find how is the IT job market, is it good or bad? A lot of jobs offered, very few jobs offered. What do you check? Job street. Okay, you can check job street, look at job street, do a search. So how many IT jobs are available. So if a lot, it means this can increase the chance of job hopping, staff resigning. Okay. So, but if when you do a search, not much job offers display, that means job market is no good. Okay. If job market is no good, then job hopping will be less. So if job market is good, what to do? So you monitor, you check job market, a lot of IT jobs. How to reduce, how to avoid this? You want to try? Better ask the company pay well, pay a competitive salary so that the staff will not jump to another company because of higher pay. This is one thing that project manager can do. Okay. So mitigation is to develop options and action to reduce the threat. Okay. So to reduce this risk, okay, to reduce this risk, this is what you can do. Monitoring is a tracking entity, so monitor the job market. Okay, monitor the job market. When job availability increase, this risk also increase. Correct? So monitor job market, monitor the country economy. Okay, so here says monitor the availability of jobs within the company and outside. So within the company, this is for big company. Okay, for big company with many departments. So staff also can hop from one department to another department for big organization, not for small organization. Okay, for big organization. Okay, so mitigation, monitoring. Next is management. So management is take action when the risk has become a reality. Okay, risk has become a reality, many staff resign. Okay, I don't want to use these three words. So I will say, when risk become real, use backup staff that has been planned in the mitigation stage. Okay, so you have planned something here. Okay, you have planned something here. Okay, use the plan. Okay, so example, use Jack to replace those who is unavailable or have left the company. Okay, so another thing you can do is, risk has become a reality. Ask the individual who is leaving to spend the last week to transfer knowledge to remaining team members. So the staff has tender resignation. So you ask the staff to spend the last week to transfer knowledge to the remaining team members. This is to reduce the impact. For your assignment, you don't have to give as many points as like this. Okay, no need to zoom. Okay, you can three, good enough. Three. Okay, for me, any combination up to 9, up 8, 9 combination, 8, 9 is good enough. Let me tell you what are the common mistakes when students do this. Okay, you want to know? Okay, common mistake made by students are what they write here belongs to here. What they write here belongs to here. That's the common mistake. Or what they write here belongs to here. Or it can be what they write here belongs to here. They put at the wrong place. That's the common mistake. I show you example, you don't take photo. Okay, I show you past assignment, you don't take photo. Can? Okay, the management plan. This one wrong. This one should belong to the above. Okay, let's move on to the next. This one all correct. Follow lecture notes.
报告才三
Don't
三
use
吗？
don't use other
我
wording.
们都
Okay, don't use other
我
wording.
们急了，那你看33。
This one should belongs to mitigation. Okay, put in the wrong place. So this one should belongs to here. Wrong place. There's the common mistake. Okay. So you put the plan at the right place. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so let's continue. A risk is something that you would prefer not to happen. Okay, so risk is not something that's favorable. Risk is, I would say risk is an unfavorable event. Okay, not a favorable event. Okay, so risk is something that you would prefer not to happen. So risk management strategy. Okay, so take the necessary action to avoid the risk altogether. Okay, so take precaution to reduce the probability of the risk. Take the necessary action to lessen the impact. Okay, so transfer the risk to another person or organization. Okay, so how you can do this is okay. So you have a big customer asking you to do a big IT job. So instead of you handle this IT jobs alone, so you may form a joint venture company. Okay, so you ask another company to you form a joint venture with another company to service this big customer. Okay, so if things went wrong, when things go wrong, okay, so all the burden will not be shouldered by yourself. Okay. Half will be shouldered by you, okay, half will be shouldered by your partner company. Okay, so this is the way of risk transfer. So normally insurance company will do this risk transfer. Okay, you know how much a Lamborghini costs? Million or million plus. So the car owner buy insurance from insurance company. Okay, so the insurance company will not accept this case alone. Okay, will partner with another insurance company and take 50%. The other insurance company take 50%. So if anything went wrong, okay, insurance company A will contribute 50% of losses. Insurance company B will contribute another 50% of losses. If you accept the risk all alone, anything went wrong, you yourself have to contribute 100%. Okay, so last, okay, do nothing. So sometimes you have to do nothing for the risk. Okay, when the cost of action is greater than the damage. Okay, so cost of action is greater than the damage, better do nothing. Okay, not worthwhile. Okay, that's all.
你测办吗？